Hey guys, Kyle the Death Note of Anime here, bringing you my episode review for My Hero Academia, Season 2, Episode 4. Sorry it's late, I was kind of having some electrical work done in my house, so I didn't have access to my computer or whatnot, but now that I am, let's get into it. First I want to talk about there's two characters I definitely want to focus on this episode, which are Ida and Izuku in this chapter, and the I feel those two were the ones who got the most development again in this one. Like Ida on his part, I feel his development came from the fact that he when Izuku went up to him in order to ask him to be part of his cavalry team. Ida basically refused, and the thing about it is that I think that I was trying to showcase that in a way, like there is a certain point you can go in terms of getting stronger and by relying on others, but after that, it does come to a point where you need to actually work, where you need to learn to get stronger on your own, and I feel that's kind of what was being pushed in terms of Ida's development. Is he learned that in order to be a strong hero, he needed to learn to get stronger on his own. And even though he is part of, even though he's part of, even though in the end he is getting he's getting reliance on another team in the cavalry battle. I feel it's his way of just trying to learn in order to get stronger on his own. Yeah. Also, we get introduced to Hatsume as kind of a as one of the substitutes on Izuku's team or whatnot. In our is one of as I guess it would be Ida's whole substitute. And I gotta tell you, Hatsumi is fucking hilarious. Like I love her beyond. I love her. She is just funny as hell. And yeah, Hatsume, trust me, she is gonna play an interesting. In the event where this anime does pick up past season 2, trust me, she is going to serve a much bigger part than you think. But yeah, but honestly, guys, I just go read the manga in order for you to see for yourself. But yeah, Hatsumi, just a great character, honestly. Also, I want to talk about another. I want to talk about another character, and this one isn't from Class 1A. It's from Class 1B. His name is Nate Monomo. This guy, and I'm sorry to okay, uh, in like good chunk of this in the good chunk of this chapter, he came across as very menacing and very conniving. But I hate to tell you guys, but it's gonna be a whole. I hate to tell you guys who might be fans of this character, and I don't know if what I'm about to say is gonna even change the fact that you like the character, but honestly, Nato as a character, he is a crustfuck. He is literally a crustfuck. Like, trust me when I say that pretty much after this whole tournament ends, this whole sports festival arc ends, he's just gonna be an annoying little crustfuck who just brags and brags and brags. He doesn't really even do much, honestly. He's just there as kind of comic relief, but to me he's an annoying little crosstalk. He is. I mean, okay, I'll give the character this. He is charismatic. He is very charismatic, but fortunately, beyond that, he's not really much to really even think about, guys. I'm sorry, but he's not. This guy is just a crosstalk, and yeah, that's the one problem I have had with Boku no Hero Academia, is that character was just a crosstalk. So yeah. Um. Also, I want, like I said, I want to talk about Izuku's development now. I think by Ida basically, by Ida refusing to work with Izuku in this episode, I feel it was good for Izuku. But in his development and realizing that sometimes being on the top, in order to get to the top, it means that you need to step over your competition, and it's kind of sad in a way that's pretty much how this whole hero society works, because in in many comic books and many Marvel comic books and many DC comic books, they all these heroes, they don't really even, they're not even trying to in order to step on each other in order to do what's right. They just do what's right because they do what's right. Whereas in this series, it's like, yeah, the whole hero thing. It's main to many others who are heroes, it's just a job. It's just a career to them. And yeah, I am. It just shows how corrupt in a way that this whole society is. Because if Izuku hadn't, I think, but and it shows, I guess, that Izuku is kind of adapting in a way to them, in order to this whole norm. But or either that, or he's just doing it in order to get by, this competition. I assume he is probably gonna inevitably bring change to this whole system, but who knows? Um, it also showed that in I think another thing that was introduced is like in the last couple episodes where where it was showcased how adaptable Izuku is when working as an individual. I feel that this episode it did good in kind of showcasing how Izuku works well with others in a team dynamic. And since Ida had chosen not to work with Izuku, I think that kind of pushes forward. In fact, he chose in with Izuku not working with Ida, and instead working with Atsumi and Tok Oyami in this one. I feel it was good in showcasing that Izuku is adaptable enough not only to work in a team dynamic but also work with others who he doesn't consider who are in his close knit group of friends. So yeah, I feel it did good in that area too. Um, Another thing I think is we also get intro is we get a little screen time on Toad Roki this time, and showcasing how smart he is, and I guess how much of a tactical person he is. Because in this episode, when he was planning out the strategy with his teammates, of Yorozu, Ida, and Inari, I believe it was. Yeah, Kaminari. Um, he was showcasing how well he can use, how well he can, just like Izuku is showing how well he can adapt and use others in their, how well he can adapt and use others in his how well he can adapt and use others' abilities in his advantage, I guess. But yeah, that was a nice bit of introduction to into how Todoroki works as a character and how he thinks. Also, in this episode, we get introduced to get introduced to and Endeavour, who's Todoroki's father. And going off what I said a couple reviews back, you can see there definitely is some bad blood between father and son, especially in the way that he so callously said, I refuse to use my. Okay, how it was Todoroki who so callously said while looking up at his father, I refuse to use my fireside in battle. So that means that seriously, some seriously traumatic shit went when was going down in Todoroki's past between him and his father. Something happened, but and I imagine we are gonna from the way they're whole teasing it up in this up teasing it up. I imagine we are gonna get that whole backstory soon, and oh boy, it's gonna be interesting. And finally, we get the end of the episode, which is a setup for Izuku's team and Toad Aroki's team to fight, and in the next episode. And yeah, I think some serious shit's gonna go down in that episode. Like I think Ice is gonna fly, and Izuku's gonna. I don't know if Izuku's gonna use One for All, because he hasn't. Izuku hasn't really learned to control it yet, so I don't know if he's gonna how he's gonna utilize One for All if he is in the next episode. But if he does, it should be interesting. Should be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, guys, that's my review for My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia, Season 2, Episode 4, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.